It's 9th of October, Divisional Picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code MLB SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and the NFL with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Wednesday, October the 9th. We have a full slate of 4 divisional round games going through the afternoon into the evening. So loads of exciting stuff to get involved with today. Joining me, all kitted out, I believe, for a big, exciting trip to City Field is Mr. Dylan Rockford. Dylan, how are you holding up?
I'm doing well. I am counting the hours till 5 p.m. here on the East Coast, so I could be live at City Field. But yeah, 1 game away. It was great last night watching Sean Manaea. I think just pitched an absolute gem of a game. Did not expect that. The whole season for Manaea has been really good, but yeah, we're 1 game away from the NLCS, so we'll see. But anxious and nervous, to say the least.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll start with the Mets last night because it was loads of fun again. I really enjoyed watching it. It was a couple of it was a perfect time for me, 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. start. And you see, Manaea was in control. I always felt like the Mets were in control as it happens. I was a little bit unlucky. I took Nola over on the strikeouts, which hit pretty easily. I then took Manaea under on his strikeouts, and I think at 2-0, they probably wouldn't have sent him back out. And then Mets tagged on a couple of runs, and they sent him out again. So the strikeouts ended. So I won one and lost one. But then Scott, in our little group chat, turned us on to the live over. I think it was the bottom of the 8th. He said, there's another run in this. Both bullpens are terrible. So we bet that at plus 135. And sure enough, Lindor tagged one on. But the Mets looked in control, Dylan.
Yeah, they did. From the opening start, Pete Alonso with the nice home run. It's crazy to see because he usually doesn't go opposite field. I mean, that was a perfect pitch delivered by Aaron Nola, and I think it was just a better at-bat from Pete Alonso. Upper deck as well. I thought that was really good. Jesse Winker should have had 2 home runs. Great play by Nick Castellanos, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I agree. I think they wouldn't have sent him out after the 6th, but we got those 2 insurance runs, and he was just on one. He revealed after the game his aunt passed away yesterday morning, so that's why he gave a kiss, and he was kind of emotional coming off the mound after the 8th inning. So it was an amazing, or after the 7th, excuse me. But yeah, it was a great effort from our bullpen. Pitched well. Sean Manaea pitched well. Lindor, Vientos had kind of an off night, but, Nimmo, Alonso, everyone. Winker had a good game. Starling Marte, he's still out here at 35 years old. Great play in the outfield by Tyrone Taylor, getting Alex Bohm out. I mean, that was a surefire double. Yeah. Great play. I mean, I don't want to say, but, everything's starting to click here for the Mets. I think Carlos Mendoza's making all the right calls as well. So we'll see. I think, I don't want to say must win, but it's a can't lose here. We don't want to go to the bank for game 5.
Padres held on against the Dodgers in a sort of a game of 2 halves. There was all sorts going on in the first half of that game, and then it settled down. And again, even though there was a lot of momentum switches, you felt like the Padres were in control of that one as well, a little bit, similar to the Mets. They were both very good results for our 2-2-1 stat from Monday, Dylan. The teams returning home. Yeah, you're laughing. But we've got 2 more tonight. 2 more teams that fit that. Teams returning home at 1-1 in the 2-2-1 format. Remember, 66%. The Mets fit that. The Padres fit that, who were both now 2-1. And we go with the Royals and the Tigers tonight, who both fit that. Our Monday picks were good, Dylan. Justin Henry Malloy hit for me. We took the Tigers and Scooble was in complete control there. Best bet of the day, the Gleyber Torres over half a run hit, even though the Yankees only scored 2 runs. Gleyber managed to cross for one of them. And the headline, Dylan, back-to-back home run winners. You hit Salvi on Monday, and then Lonte hit Teoscar Hernandez last night. So there's been plenty of winners around.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully we can continue that. Yeah, Royals won outright. We took the Tigers. What a masterclass Scooble did. I know, unfortunately, they got the late home run in the 9th inning, but yeah, Tigers tie up the series. Royals, to be honest, we'll talk about them in a little, but I feel like they've been the better team this series. And then last night, just to touch real quick on the Dodger game, I thought that was a really good game as well, kind of back and forth. I faded Michael King in this spot just because, I thought we were going to see some regression out of him. I took his under out 16.5. And once he gave up that grand slam in the 3rd inning to Teoscar Hernandez, he was kind of out of the game. Bullpen has done really good for the Padres. They're not striking out a bunch of guys, but they're playing really good defensively. Tatis has been unworthy, if I'm being honest. He's been fantastic for them. So, yeah, it's looking like these home teams are really good so far. And I don't like the comments that Jazz Chisholm made either after that game. They said they got lucky. I wouldn't say that, if I'm being honest.
Don't throw any shade on Team GB's Jazz Chisholm, by the way. And we've got Team GB's Tyrone Taylor playing for your team as well, by the way. The chat is buzzing as always. Riley was first in. Riley, how are you doing? Jason, welcome along. Skrills, thanks for joining us live. Skrills, how are you doing? Captain Insano, Charles Liggins. Charles, how are you doing? Nice to have you. If you are in the chat, there's a few more people who haven't put their heads above the parapet. By all means, say hello and throw some of your best picks out as well. Flood support is well and truly on the map currently over your side of the water. The network is teaming up with the local charity mountainprojects.org to help people out currently in Western North Carolina. So go to mountainprojects.org, hit flood support to help out. And obviously, we'll send our best wishes to those in Florida who were about to go through that as well. 4 games then, Dylan. We'll need to get through these at a rapid pace tonight. We're going to start with the first game off. Is a 3:08 Eastern time between the Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers. It is Alex Cobb who has the start for Cleveland. For the Tigers, it will be, well, actually, is it Kader Montero or is it Brant Herter? Dylan, do you have any?
I thought it was Brisky, going to be a bullpen type.
Oh, okay. So you haven't got any of the 2 guys I've got.
No, that usually happens though with us.
Cleveland are -115, Detroit -105. Totally here at 7. This by far for me was the hardest game to handicap for several reasons. Chief amongst them is that we don't know which of those 3 pitchers going to go. Although it doesn't really matter because we probably see all of them. Just in different orders. What that does mean is it eliminates a lot of the strikeout or the pitching props. It eliminates a lot of the Cleveland's hitting props because you can't really sort of put your model to work when you don't know who they're going to be facing. So it is difficult. Alex Cobb's only started 3 games all season. I think he's had a hip surgery. He's had a shoulder nerve thing. He's had blisters. He's had fingernails. You name it. Has flashed occasionally. 6 innings, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts against the Phillies on September the 1st as a demonstration of what he is capable of. Montero or Herter or Brisky. Montero really is the only other starter that the Tigers have got apart from Scoob. We're back to pitching chaos again here, really, which does make it, like I say, difficult. If Montero does go, you'll probably get 3 innings max out of him. He was going a little bit longer before that, but with Detroit, everything's on the line tonight. It is just going to be the pitching chaos again. But batting matchup, are incredibly hard to split. Neither side's got a strong offense. Both bullpens are very good. Honestly, this was almost all good for me. The season record is now 8-8. Like everywhere you looked for a clue, there wasn't any. you couldn't find anything to split them. I don't really fancy Cobb. Detroit have got the momentum, and as I just said, we are enjoying the 2-2-1 stat. So I would take Detroit at -105. I'm perfectly happy to leave the total out, which we did the other night, and I think we were correct to. The total was 6. It did come under, but we didn't feel comfortable with it. Player props. Again, I was happy to leave. Well, I wasn't happy to. I had no alternative but to leave Cleveland due to not knowing what the Tigers were going to do. But the two standout Tigers for me tonight were Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green. But I'm not going to use them in a traditional way. I'm going to use Jake Rogers to score a run. Now, Jake Rogers is going to bat ninth here, I believe. His expected on-base average is okay. And when Rogers gets on, he's going to be followed up by Meadows, Carpenter, Veerlin, and Green. So he's going to get followed in by Carpenter and Green. So it was just a nice price. It's plus 220. I thought this was really hard. I had to be a bit creative. So we get Jake Rogers on base, and then we'll get one of the standout Tigers to bring him home. Rogers half a run plus 220, but Detroit at -105 is my main pick today.
Yeah, Mal, I couldn't agree more. This was the hardest game to come down on a side for or make a bet for. I'm actually going to take the Guardians here to bounce back. You know, they laid an egg in game 2. Skubal, he looked amazing for the Tigers. Now, Tigers going for a bullpen day. Regardless of who goes, I don't expect the starter, whoever they do go with, to throw a lot. You know, starting Brisky might or Montero, doesn't matter. They'll probably go a few innings. Bullpen has actually been better than the Guardians this postseason as well, which I think is saying something because Guardians have had the best bullpen all season. I know the Tigers have the momentum now. That three-run shot late in the 9th inning. I just can't imagine the Guardians lineup to lay another egg offensively. I think eventually we are going to see some regression from this pitching staff in Detroit. I see the Guardians opening up. I think they're going to be aggressive at the plate like they were in game 1. My numbers made the Guardians, if it is Brisky, my numbers made Guardians -120 favorite here. So getting the short price -108, -110, shop around. I do see some of the books have the game off, but the major books, they do have this game posted. But yeah, I'm going to take it. This definitely was the hardest one. I couldn't come down on a player prop. I'll have a player prop for each of the other games. But yeah, this definitely was the hardest game for me. And not run into the window for this one either.
Yes, Skrills is saying that the game's off the board where he is, although some other people are seeing line. So it just
Yeah.
tells you that there is a lot of
Unknown.
question marks hanging around over that game. We'll move on to the Phillies and the Mets after I've let you know about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Pick'em has got one of the biggest menus in all the sports: NFL, MLB, MMA, WNBA, NASCAR, tons of other stuff. Specials and boosts on all your flexed entries. Our code to sign up is MLB SGPN. That will get you a special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MLB SGPN. What time? 5:08 Eastern time. This is officially my favourite time now for baseball to start. That 10 p.m. game here. The Philadelphia Phillies at the New York Mets. It is two left-handed pitchers going in. Ranger Suarez for the Phillies. For the Mets, it will be Jose Quintana. And where's my notes gone? There they are on the wrong page, man. It's a match on the books. It is -111 each of two, with a total of 7.5. Dylan, you can lead us off here. Adonis is just confirming that Montero's starting
Okay, good.
for Detroit. So we were kind of around. We had one of the three pitchers. Dylan, firstly, I want to know what does your game day look like tonight? Are you going into town early, having a few beers? You getting belligerent? Are you taking your mum? What's happening?
No belligerency going around here. I need to be
Yeah,
locked in for this game. Gonna go around 2:30. Gates open up around 1:00, but no, I'm just going in, trying to enjoy it, be laser focused, and trying to manifest the win here. So day games are usually like that. If it's a night game or like a standalone primetime game, maybe Sunday Night Baseball, I like to get a few drinks in me. I mean, what's the shame in that? But for this game, I will be at the game, Malcolm, so it's only right that I have a bet on it. And what kind of fan would I be if I didn't take the Mets to close out this series? The Mets, they've never had a home clinching series win at Citi Field. So hopefully I can witness history tonight. But the Phillies, you got to imagine they're going to be throwing the kitchen sink. They got to throw everything at us in order to force a game 5. I'll say this. I am very shocked they're not throwing Wheeler and going with Ranger Suarez, kind of like what the Padres are doing, throwing Dylan Cease on short rest. I'll say that Suarez, he hasn't been the best on the road this season. He didn't have the best September to end the season as well. Over a 6 ERA. Phillies, they've lost his last 3 starts on the road, 5 of his last 7 starts on the road as well. And, there's just something going on with this Phillies lineup. They can't hit right now. And outside of pitching around Bryce Harper and Castellanos and Schwarber, no one in this lineup kind of scares me. And I say that in a respectful way, but they've just gone ice cold. They can't hit right now. There's just no way around it. Now you have to give credit to the Mets pitching staff as well. I think the starting pitching has been phenomenal. I think the bullpen has kind of been up and down, but for the most part has been good as well. But outside a few bad pitches, the one to Schwarber, the one to Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos, besides those 3 bad pitches, I say the Mets pitching has been solid. So they're throwing another lefty in Jose Quintana. I think that's the biggest problem for the Phillies. They can't see left-handed pitching well. Hitting 125 in the postseason. The bullpen for the Mets is fully rested with that dominant performance from Manaea last night. So I expect the Mets to have a short leash with Jose Quintana, honestly, to try to close out this series, not force a game 5 at the bank. So I got it at even money. My numbers made the Mets a minus 125 favorite here at home with Quintana on the mound. Fully rested bullpen. I just think they're the better team right now. They're playing better. They have all the momentum. I'm going to take the Mets here to close it out. Go to the NLCS as well. As a player prop, going to actually take Ranger Suarez over 1.5 walks. He's thrown 2 or more walks in each of his last 5 starts. And while on this streak, he's averaging around 2.5 walks per start. Mets have an 8.1 walk percentage when facing left-handed pitcher during the regular season. And Suarez, he's logged 2+ walks in 5 of his last 7 starts versus the Mets. Mets, they've been aggressive at the plate, but they did a good job in the second half of the game as well, taking a lot of pitches as well. So over 1.5 walks for Ranger Suarez for a player prop.
Nice, Dylan. Love that. Yeah, this is the first playoff appearance of the year for Suarez. Not pitched in September the 27th. And really, it was a season of 2 halves for Suarez. Since the All-Star break, 8 games started, 5.65 ERA, which tells its own story. Quintana's been absolutely rolling. Good consistency. 6 scoreless at the Brewers. 3.18 post All-Star break in comparison. That's the doorbell, by the way. That's inconvenient, isn't it?
Who's that? The mailman or the milkman?
It is a big white van delivering something. Well, I can't answer the door. Someone's got to go and get it. What we're talking about, Phillies and Mets.
Jose Quintana him being good.
Yeah. So Quintana that's thrown me off. Sorry, 3 games against the Phillies with a 2.81 ERA this year in 16 innings pitched. So I've got no reason to doubt Quintana or the New York Mets. They've showed up basically in this spot. They've showed up in the playoffs. There's plenty of reasons to fade Suarez and Philadelphia. The bullpen stinks. The Mets are my pick at minus 111. And I'm going to throw out again what the little play that Scott gave us last night, which was to take it, the over live and play. When we get down to the 7th and 8th inning, there's more runs in it. For a start, the Mets have been full of late runs in just about every game. They've been all over the place. So, yeah, if you want that live play, I wasn't enamorado with any of the pitching props particularly. So I was back to the bats again. Quite chalky, but I like Francisco Lindor to score over half a run at minus 116. And I've got a couple of RBI props here. The 2 that stand out from the middle of each order are JT Martinez over half a ribby at plus 175. And JT Realmuto, the same, over half a ribby at plus 210. Plenty of base runners in front of them and good ex-Wober for those 2 hitters. So they'll be my pick. Lindor to score a run, Martinez in Real Muto to get a ribby. We will move on to the next game, which is where are we going? I might have to go and answer the door, Dylan. 7:08 Eastern between the New York Yankees and the Kansas City Royals. It is Clark Schmidt for the Yankees. It is Seth Lugo for the Royals. It's relatively tight on the books. The Yankees minus 116. The Royals are minus 105. And the total sits at 8. Dylan, you can lead us off. I'll go and see what this bloke wants. I'll be back in about 20 seconds, okay? You
Sounds
save
good.
it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, go handle that. Unfortunately, I have the Royals here. Short puppies at home here for the Royals in game 3. They tied up the series, stole a game in the Bronx, and I do think they have all the momentum now coming back home to Kansas City. I'm on record saying I do think Kansas City has been the better team in this series so far. I think the Yankees' problem has been the problem all year. Injuries with their starting pitching. The bullpen has been good, but their starting pitcher has been below average. And now they're throwing Clark Schmidt, he's been good. I like Clark Schmidt, but he hasn't pitched in about 2 to 3 weeks. And I don't know how he's going to do again in this start against a Royal team who, let's be honest, they've been crushing the ball. They've been a better hitting team than the Yankees so far. I don't know how long they're going to let Seth Lugo go here. Depends on his pitch count. Depends how he's doing in the game. He only went 4 1/3 against the Royals, and he was doing good. So we'll see how they manage him. But he has had success against this Yankee club this season as well. Regardless of how long they do let him go, I trust the Royals bullpen more. They've been surprisingly good this postseason, small sample size, but through the first 4 games, they have been a really good bullpen. I trust their bats right now more than I do the Yankees right now. And, as good as Aaron Judge has been in the regular season, and he's going to be a future Hall of Famer, he struggled in the postseason. He really has. And I know that's mostly all of past years, but 2 games, he really hasn't done anything. And when the Yankees are successful is when the top of the lineup, Juan Soto, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, is when they're getting going. So they haven't been getting going right now. I just trust the Royals here. I love the stat that you said, 1-1 coming back home. They win about 66% of the time. I think they're the better team right now. My numbers made them the minus 110 favorite. I got a minus 102. There's some value here with the small home dog, but I do like the Royals here to take game 3 for a player prop. No, he's been quiet, but I'm going to take Bobby Witt Jr. over 1.5 total bases. He has stayed under this prop in 8 of his last 10 games, so I'm actually going to zig when other people are zagging. But during this stretch, his season long, he's averaging around 2.3 total bases this year. And, he gets a chance to bounce back in a really good spot. I think they're throwing Clark Schmidt, a right-handed pitcher. And when Bobby Witt Jr. is going against right-handed pitchers, he's hitting 336 on the year. So I do think this is a good spot for him. Maybe get a double, maybe get 2 singles, but I like Bobby Witt Jr. here coming back home. They've been a good home team all season. I'm going to take Bobby Witt over 1.5 total bases.
Okay, I like that, Dylan. I did catch most of that, mate. I was only got about 30 seconds. It was the Amazon man. So I don't know what it is.
Nice.
It's got the IT department's name on it, so
she ordered
unlikely
something.
it's for me.
Yeah.
I bet I paid for it, though. That's generally how it works. So first off, the series prices on the grounds that we like the KC angle. KC are plus 130 with the Yankees at minus 166. So there's your trend. There's a lot of good stats popping around in the chat there about taking teams in game 3 over the series. Matty DM is all over that. Roberto and Nathan have joined us as well. How you doing, boys? Again, September the 29th was Clark Schmidt's last appearance. He came back into the rotation 5th of September and made 5 starts. Having been out since May, understandably wasn't as sharp as he could have been. Was going 4 or 5 innings, 365 ERA is okay. Seth Lugo pitched against the Orioles, 4 1/3, 1 earned 6 Ks in the last round of the playoffs. Really consistent all year. Suffered a little bit of a dip in July and August, but he did finish strong. I think Lugo can go okay here, but my main play is to fade the Kansas City lineup. They did score a few in New York. Was it 4 and 5, I think, in the 2 games?
Mm-hmm.
But they only scored twice in both games against Baltimore. and they finished the season really quite poorly, averaged exactly 3 runs per game in the last month, with a batting average of 203. So a Kansas City Royals team total of under 3.5 is going to be my play here at -105. In terms of player props, I have found a pitching prop I like in this one, and it's going to be Seth Lugo's strikeouts over 4.5. Is at +125. Now, he struck out 6 Orioles in that start that he did make. The strike rate on this is hitting at about 50-50, which obviously doesn't jump off the page. However, it's +125. So 50-50 strike rate, you take that all the time. In the bottom of this New York Yankees order can strike out as well. So Lugo could make a little bit of hay. He could get some cheap punches when he's facing 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I like Lugo to get over 4.5 strikeouts at +125. We've got one more game to cover. I'm going to tell you about BetUS, the best in the business. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. Easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast. Payout, sign up, deposit $100. You've got a chance to win a 1960 Ford Mustang. Get in. Use our link to sign up and get a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code is SGPN, so they know that we sent you. BetUS is America's favourite sportsbook. And finally, Rhythm, SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform. Help provide bettors with the predictions on moneyline spreads, totals, props. You can build your own model, or you can use one of the top performing models off the leaderboard. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Final game on the board is a 9:08 Eastern first pitch between the LA Dodgers and the San Diego Padres, who lead the series 2-1. LA Dodgers are officially now TBD. What is going on here? Were they officially TBD all day? My book says it's Landon Knack. I think it is Landon Knack. Yeah, you happy with that, Dylan? Dylan Cease goes for the Padres. San Diego are -140. The Dodgers are +120. And the total is sitting at 8. I'll lead off with this one. We went out of sequence, Dylan, because I answered the door. Yeah, Landon Knack / bullpen day. We kind of think for Riley Sin for the Dodgers. He finished the season going about 4 innings. So presumably that will be his max today, but on a very, very short leash with the season on the line. As the Dodgers really face deja vu from the last 2 seasons in this spot here. Must have a bit of PTSD, I think. And Knack was kind of up and down. He's okay. I don't want to bet him particularly. Hard to factor him in. Last night, I mean, it was a bit odd. The Dodgers defense let them down early on. They're now dealing with injuries to Freddie Freeman and Rojas. Just seeing if they're predicted to start. Neither. Miguel Rojas is predicted to be okay, and Freeman predicted to miss out currently. So that's a huge blow for them. Dylan Cease, as you say, coming off short rest, but again, it's playoff baseball. His last 2 game starts were both against the Dodgers, as it happens. He did lose both, and he did get hit in both. He had multi-walks. The question is, which Cease do we get here? He is better at home than on the road. I think ultimately we see runs in this game, Dylan. The Padres are hitting well. The big names for the Padres, you talked about them at the top of the show, Tatis, etc., Machado locked in. I think Knack can run into trouble early. But the Dodgers seem to have a bead on Dylan Cease as well, and they can contribute. And obviously, they've still got all those stellar players, Shohei, etc. Both offenses were money in the last 30 days. So I think you can see it over 8. In terms of player props, the fact that I think we'll see runs leads you with tons of offensive options to get involved with. The key was finding the best bet in amongst all of that. The 2 players I narrowed it down to were Max Muncy and Jackson Merrill. Max Muncy Yeah, slated to bat 4, Jackson Merrill 5, I believe, tonight. Um, and it's the RBI potential that I like for both of them. I know I picked Ribbies earlier on in the Mets game, but they're sitting in there behind all the big boys at the top of those orders. Max Muncy over half a Ribby is plus 195, and Jackson Merrill over half a Ribby is plus 150, Dylan.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Padres here to close out the series. I got a minus 130. My numbers made them a minus 150 here with Dylan Cease on the mound, throwing their ace on short rest. I want to ask you real quick. Do you think that's a smart move for a manager to throw him on a short day in a closeout? Or would you kind of, have a game to play with and do the Phillies route and say, hey, we'll throw another starter. And if we do go a game 5, we'll throw Zach Wheeler at home. Do you like what the
No,
Padres are doing, or do you like what the Phillies are doing?
I like what the Padres are doing. Go for it. He's a
Yeah.
pitcher. He's a baseball player. Pitch him. We have this with a horse
Yeah.
racing all the time. The race horses run them. Same thing. Go and win the game. You don't know what's going to happen. Go and win it now. Put it to bed.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if you're a pitcher and Zach Wheeler, you go to Rob Thompson and be like, I want the ball. Big time players want the ball in big time moments. So I agree. I just wanted your thoughts on that. And as big of a Mets fan I am, obviously, I honestly, I got to call a spade a spade. I think the Padres are the best team right now. They're playing the best baseball. They're the most complete team, in my opinion. I don't like how the Dodgers, like I said, are throwing out their starter in a bullpen type game. That worries me. I'm not the biggest Landon Knack fan. They tried fighting back last night. They came up short. You mentioned it. Freddie Freeman's ankle, it's messed up. That worries me. Padres bullpen has looked good. They don't strike out a ton of batters, but they play really good defense. Fernando Tatis has been incredible. I just don't believe in the Dodgers this year. I think the Padres are the better team. They're the most complete team right now. And minus 130, I think, is a great price for a home team trying to advance to the NLCS. So going to take the Padres here. And as for a player prop, I feel like it's always switch. I go offense, you go pitching, you go offense. Now I'm going to go pitching. Let me get Dylan Cease over 4.5 strikeouts. He's gone over his strikeout prop in 29 of his last 34 starts. And across that span, he's averaging up to 5.6 strikeouts per start. Dodgers, they ended the season with the second lowest K rate versus right-handed pitchers last 15 dates. But if you go back to 2022, Cease has locked 5+ strikeouts in 4 of the last 5 matchups versus the Dodgers. So he does have success against this team at home in a very big game. I think the momentum, the energy is going to be loud at Petco Park. I think he's going to get the 5 strikeouts. So over 4.5 strikeouts for Dylan Cease.
Okay, like that. Thank you. Callum, one of our Premier League show listeners, has just joined us. You can tell it's DGen activity. We're talking about betting on the darts, me and Callum. The British Grand Prix is currently underway in the darts over here. I had to fill in a couple of hours last night before the Mets Phillies game. So I was sitting playing, having a little bet on the darts last night. Love it. Okay, Dylan, best bet and a home run. We've got the pressure of the home run, Dylan, because we're going for the hat trick. Who have you got?
Yeah, so I don't have a home run. I'm gonna let that for you. I have a best bet, and I'm gonna do a player prop that I really like. So my best bet, I am not gonna jinx my Mets and take them. I've learned my lesson. Being on this show for about 2-3 years now, I've learned my lesson. I will not mesh them. I like the Padres here at home. I think they're gonna close it out, putting their ace. I love the move. They're going all in, close it out, get that extra day of rest. I think offensively, they've been really good with Fernando Tatis. I think Dodgers are dealing with some injury. Going to take the Padres. I think they are the better team. Minus 130 as my lock. For my favorite player prop, which I guess you could call a dog, whatever, I like Bobby Witt Jr. I really think he could have a big game. He doesn't usually have 3 bad games in a row. I'm kind of zigging when a lot of people are zagging. He's kind of been under the radar these past few games. Like I said, he stayed under this prop in 8 of his last 10 games. But I think this is a good matchup against Clark Schmidt, against right-handed pitchers. Bobby Witt is hitting 336. So I think he could get on base today. I expect a big game coming back home after a big win, stealing one in the Bronx. Give me Bobby Witt Jr. as my favorite player prop at over 1.5 total bases.
Yeah, Bobby Witt is on the card of Riley, as well as Nick Castellanos and Manny Machado. My best bet, Dylan. I've had to think twice about doing this to you. It's going to be the New York Mets on the money line. Fuck it. You'll be
Oh
all right.
man.
Uh, do
Jesus. If
not
you
bring this up
mushed me,
tomorrow.
Jesus.
Sorry. Nah, man, we're full of confidence. One minus one, one, one. Yeah, everything's good for them. They're ticking all the boxes. I love it. And I've made a second home run pick here because you've left us short. So I'm going to lend you the home run prop that I'm going to lend you, Dylan, is Jason Dominguez. He's not even listed on my book at the moment. I think they'll address that when the lines come out. I reckon he might be about 7-1, maybe. A bit of an afterthought for the New York Yankees. But my main play, Dylan, you might even catch this one. Are you in a position to catch home runs tonight, or are you
Yeah.
behind the foul line?
I'm in left field. Tickets are
Okay.
expensive.
Well, JD Martinez is going to drop one right into your lap,
Oh,
mate,
I can't
tonight.
wait.
And you can give us a wave, and we will all celebrate. Yeah, JD Martinez plus 425 to hit one out tonight for your New York Mets. Dylan, that was fun. Chat was buzzing. Have you anything else to tell the people before we let them go?
No, if any of you guys want to go to a game, use that Game Time app. That's what I used. The promo code SGPN MLB. We got a nice discount to go to these games, and if your team is lucky enough, like mine, you could go see them in the playoffs. But I'll leave you with 3 words, Malcolm. Let's go, Mets.
Let's go, Mets. You missed the F out, Dylan, but I'll let you off. It is 20 to 5 in the afternoon. It's before the watershed. Right, thanks, mate. Good luck. Have a really good time. I will be sitting here cheering you on as well. Thanks, everyone who joined in. Loads of fun, as always. If you want to listen to more of me, Premier League Gambling Podcast at 10 p.m. tonight, which is 5 p.m. Eastern Time. There's no football to talk about. I'll open that package live on air. We'll see what it is. Thanks, everyone. Good luck with your best tonight. Enjoy the baseball. We will see you all down the road. Cheers.